Greetings, it's Vagram, back again with another episode of Hot Blocks. Now, you're going to very quickly notice that I'm actually in the mod guide test world. It has kind of turned into a general canvas for a lot of things that I want to do. And on this particular episode of Hot Blocks, I wanted to go over something that has recently taken my fancy in recent updates of OpenBlocks, the radio. The radio really is cool. It's very neat. Basically, it's very easy to craft. Uses just wood down the sides, iron bars, redstone, and gold. It's not very expensive. And technically speaking, it doesn't do anything in terms of increasing your gameplay. It doesn't process ore. But it definitely makes you feel better because it actually works. Now, there are an array of crystals, like Audiophile Baroque, I believe that's classical music. British comedy, this one's a favorite of mine. Nature sounds, very cool. The Radio CC, this is actually Creative Commons free music being distributed, I believe, from Germany. Well, the website's in German. 1FM Love Classics. Cinemex. I don't actually know what this one's about. I haven't tried it yet. Radio Rivendell, very cool. Fantasy music. Adobe Radio, adobe.com. Very cool stuff. So, these are all crystals. There's actually one that would go right here. That is my absolute favorite, even above British comedy. And it is missing because I put it to use. You cannot craft any of these crystals, these radio crystals. You can either buy them from a villager that looks kind of like Elvis, and he sells radios, he sells radio crystals, or you find them in dungeon loot, in chests for dungeon loot. So, you will be hunting for these. You will not get them early on. I have been lucky several times to get vintage jazz and British comedy. I've gotten nature sounds once or twice. So, what does it sound like? What does it do? Well, I have selected out vintage jazz for testing, specifically because I know that all the music on that is so old, it's from the 20s and 30s, that it's out of copyright, it's out of claim right, and it's into free Creative Commons stuff. So, I don't have to worry about getting claims against my video. If I do any of these other ones, I think this one would be safe, but any of the other ones, even some of the classical music, it is potential for trouble for me as a YouTuber because I could get copyright strikes against my channel. I don't know for sure. The only one that I know that's probably the most safe happens to also be my favorite, which is why I made a bit of a tribute. I've been busy building my own scale of radio, and I really have to give it up to Balk, Nevercast, Mikey Moo, and the rest of the team from OpenBlocks. This really is a beautiful model up close. You can see all the curvature, all the details, and they really did make it look like one of the old Bakelite radios that my father used to have, and I absolutely loved that. Now, you're going to notice something very quickly. There's a tail of redstone going all the way around. Why, you may ask? Well, here's the thing. If I set this thing up with a lever right behind it, you need a redstone signal to make it work. The crystal, you get one, you just right-click to put it in, shift right-click to take it out. That's it. And if I put a lever right next to it, it would be at max volume, and it would be extremely loud. So, the signal volume, the signal strength of the actual redstone determines how strong the volume is. I'm giving it the weakest possible signal. A signal of 1. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I can't even begin to imagine the magic that's happening behind the scenes, but basically there is something that is, I think, called the Radio Manager that's been programmed into OpenBlocks, and it taps into streaming radio over the internet and pulls it into your Minecraft existence. So it sounds crisp, it sounds beautiful, and it only has a range, I'm going to say, probably of about 24, maybe 30 blocks. So really, it doesn't even go that far. You really don't have to worry about noise pollution for your neighbors. And it gives you a bit more customizability. Now, a thing that's even cooler is that if this selection is not good enough for you, you can actually add more crystals into the config file for open blocks. All you have to do is specify a URL, the actual streaming audio URL. I think it Open Radio, I'm not sure what the standard is. Then you need to specify what the name of it is and the color of the crystal, blue, red, whatever, stuff like that. So it's very, very cool. And it really adds atmosphere to the entire experience. It really lets you feel like you're wandering around a home. I've been using it a lot on this particular new server that you'll start seeing some footage of here in the next few days. And it really has kind of given me a boost, a kick in my step to be able to turn on vintage jazz or British comedy and just let it go while I'm building stuff around the base. It's very neat and it's very inspirational. That's why I definitely consider this a hot block. It's also why I thought it merited having a permanent home here with the rest of our big builds. So, I hope you'll give it a spin. I hope you'll find some radio crystals in the latest version of Open Blocks. Maybe you'll try it out for yourself. Just remember, don't try it at full volume. You'll probably end up going deaf. It's quite loud. But I definitely do recommend a nice signal strength of 1. Right here is what this is, because this is a 15 redstone length. So that means that it's nice, quiet, to the manageable volumes, not too overpowering your ear splitting. And some of the radio stations aren't quite as loud as the vintage jazz ones are. It's a bit of a mixed bag. It really depends upon the radio stations themselves. Now, here's something I would love to see somebody else build, or even the guys from Open Blocks. I think that this needs what's called a rheostat. I would really love to see a redstone rheostat. A block that emits a redstone signal, and it's adjustable strength from 1 to 15. That means I could have one block back here with a lever on top of it, and a preset signal strength of 1, and just flip a lever and watch it go. As it stands right now, the only downside to the radio is the lead up, so you don't bleed your ears out. Thanks for joining me. Come back for another episode of Hot Blocks. This is Vagram, signing off. Bye-bye.